appointment in the DMV last week.
Bernadette Regini in Goldsboro, North Carolina.
North Carolina stay-at-home orders extend to May 8.
Mila Simbulan in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. Is Mila there? We'll have Jericho from Montefalcon, San Antonio, Texas.
Texas governor states disaster declarations for 6 counties. San Antonio extends stay-at-home policy till May 19.
Daniel Glenn Sakulis in West Hills, California.
Los Angeles now offers free COVID-19 testing to all residents, a first for major cities in the country.
Plus tonight, learn how to color your stress away. But first, an overview of how the world looks now. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University and Medicine, as of 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, April 30, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is more than 3,200,000. This includes more than 1 million in the U.S. and more than 53,000 in Canada. Sadly, this virus has claimed more than 200,000 lives worldwide. This number includes more than 61,000 deaths here in the U.S. and more than 3,200 in Canada. Our coverage begins now. The World Health Organization's European office warns that to keep other infectious diseases in check, vaccination programs must remain a priority even during the coronavirus pandemic. Hans Klug, WHO's regional director for Europe, says ensuring that children's vaccinations are current helps prevent them from becoming victims of the pandemic.
Cannot allow this situation to worsen. We should do everything within our powers to prevent children becoming victims of this pandemic due to their vulnerability of vaccine-preventable diseases such as measles, diphtheria, mumps, and rubella. COVID-19 cannot be permitted to claim this collateral damage. We are concerned that countries may have seen interruptions in routine immunization services, including among vulnerable groups, and the interruption of measles outbreak response activities.
Clue appealed to governments to resume immunization services as soon as possible if they have been halted due to the pandemic.
To governments and health authorities, I say this: immunization services are essential. If they have been interrupted, catch-up measures must be taken as quickly as possible. We cannot allow the impact of COVID-19 to be amplified by neglecting other vital health protection measures. I do appreciate that during COVID-19, countries have found new and innovative ways of reaching children, using temporary vaccination points.
When we come back, COVID-19 updates from our correspondents in Canada and across the U.S. Stay with us.
Magtatagumpay tayo, salamat. Kung mag-fail tayo, salamat. Ang importante po, sinubukan natin, ginawa natin yung makakaya natin.
Napatunayan ko na yung talent na binigay sa akin ng Diyos, mas may expose pa. Kaya sa mga ibang artist dyan, lalo na sa mga may kapansanan din, mag-explore pa tayo ng ibang bagay tulad nito. Huwag tayong magtago, huwag tayong mahihiya. Gawin natin kung ano yung gusto talaga nating gawin.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Vet-approved Nutri-Chunks, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies nyo. Listo ganado sa Nutri-Chunks. Co-presented by Kubert, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Kubert, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Unlad Incorporated International. Fight against global poverty. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint. Color for protection for your home. Matimco. Matimco is wood. Wood is Matimco. Our Square Variables Incorporated, your trusted UPS supplier and UPS maintenance provider in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. CompuZell Computer Services, ID card and lanyard manufacturer. Saisho International Trading Corporation. DN Steel. EMAT UPVC Roof Corporation.
The successful development of TPLEX, or Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway in 2009, a 4-lane toll road that extends from Tarlac City to Rosario La Union, with an additional approved extension of 56 kilometers all the way to San Juan La Union. This is expected to reduce travel time to Baguio and other provinces in northern Luzon. Realizing the vision of creating a better world for Filipinos fueled the team's focus.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Canada mourns as 6 die in military helicopter crash. Thomas Likeness in Edmonton, Alberta has the details.
Good evening, Lanny. For Canada, and particularly Nova Scotia, today has been an extremely tough day. During NATO military exercises last night, a Canadian Forces helicopter with 6 people on board crashed off the coast of Greece in the Ionian Sea. The remains of 1 crew member have been recovered. They're still searching for the other 5. The people of Nova Scotia today are shell-shocked. I mean, first the pandemic, then 2 weeks ago, the mass shooting, which left 22 people dead after a gunman went on a rampage, and now this. The crew of that helicopter were all based out of the Nova Scotia capital of Halifax. The body of Sub-Lieutenant Abigail Cowbrow has been recovered. She was 23 years old, a graduate of Royal Military College of Canada. In 2018, she was serving as a Marine Systems Engineer officer aboard the HMCS Fredericton. Cowbrow was a talented bagpiper, and you might recall, following that deadly shooting in Nova Scotia, she was recorded playing Amazing Grace on her bagpipes, standing on the deck of that very ship, the HMCS Fredericton, and she was playing that as a tribute to the 22 victims. She was also an active member of her church. Chief of Defense Staff General Jonathan Vance says the cause of that crash is not known. Vance does say the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorders have been recovered.
The recorders broke away from the helicopter on the crash and floated, and they had a beacon that's automatically set off, and the ship and the ship's crew were able to find that the beacon and therefore recovered it.
Vance says the remaining 17 Cyclone helicopters have been put on what the military calls an operational pause until a fleet-wide problem can be ruled out. Turning to the COVID-19 situation in Canada, 53,000 cases have been confirmed. There have been nearly 3,100 deaths from coronavirus infection. In my city, businesses in Edmonton say they're struggling. They say the restrictions have to end soon or they won't be able to reopen their doors. A survey by the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce shows a third of business owners in the city won't be able to survive another month of lockdown. They say 1 out of 4 don't have enough cash on hand to make payroll. 1 on 4 can't pay their rent or make their mortgage payments. And of those who think they might survive, most say it will take a month or so before their operations are back to normal, although 10% say it could take 6 months or longer. In the meantime, I wish you all good health. Take care of others and take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Thomas. That's very tragic, and we express our deepest condolences there that has been affected from this tragedy. Moving on, over 100,000 filed for unemployment in the DMV last week. Eagle News correspondent Ken Cruz in Fort Washington reports.
Thanks, Lonnie. So more than 118,000 people filed for unemployment benefits in the District, Maryland, and Virginia area for the week ending April the 25th, according to figures released today from the Labor Department. The 118,672 people who filed for unemployment assistance in the 3 jurisdictions last week pushed the jobless ranks to more than 647,000 people in the 6 weeks since social distancing measures shut down all but essential businesses. Nationally, the numbers of unemployment claims filed for the week was 3.8 million. In the past 6 weeks, 30.3 million Americans have asked for benefits. The downturn has obliterated all the jobs gained nationally since the 2008 financial crisis. Economists estimate the national unemployment rate sits somewhere between 15 and 20%. The Washington region has been under stay-at-home orders since this past March. Thousands of businesses in the region have temporarily closed and laid off their workers. Only essential businesses, including grocery stores, have been allowed to stay open. The governors of Maryland and Virginia, along with DC's mayor, have said that they're trying to flatten the curve and the spread of new cases and are looking for declines in hospitalizations and deaths before lifting any restrictions on non-essential businesses. In Maryland news, Reopen Maryland is planning a 150-mile trek Saturday across Maryland to demand an end to restrictions imposed by Governor Larry Hogan to stem the spread of the coronavirus. The group plans to caravan from Frederick to Salisbury with rallies scheduled in Frederick, Hunt Island, and Salisbury. Warren Miller, a Maryland Republican House representative, said, quote, "There's a lot of frustration among small business owners and unemployed people. There has been no clear indication by the governor for when things will go back to normal. There's a plan, but no timeline for the plan. There needs to be predictability and a real timeline. First, it was numbers in the state. Now it's numbers in the region. With ties to Virginia and the district, some parts of our state have barely been impacted at all." End quote. with the news reports this week showing that nearly half of the state's coronavirus deaths are linked to nursing homes or other facilities, Miller said he wonders why restrictions haven't been lifted sooner. Reopen Maryland is similar to other groups that have organized rallies in Virginia, Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, and Minnesota, pushing for an end to stay-at-home orders. In Virginia, a circuit court judge has refused to let the gym reopen in Culpeper, ruling that Governor Ralph Northam did not exceed his authority in ordering a shutdown to combat the coronavirus pandemic. Two Republican state senators represented Merrill Hall, who owns a Gold's Gym in Culpeper, in a case against the Democratic governor. Senator Bill Stanley and Senator Ryan McDougal argued that Northam's executive order closing non-essential businesses through May the 8th should be lifted for indoor gyms and recreation centers. Hall, who employs 1,100 people and has 56,000 customers, said his business will not survive the pandemic under Northam's restrictions. Hearing the case over the telephone, Judge Claude B. Worrell Jr. ruled that Northam has broad powers to act in a case of emergency and his actions are constitutional. In finding against the gym owner, Worrell said, quote, "You can't say that his rights outweigh everyone else's rights to remain free of any disease," end quote. Stanley and McDougal said they intend to appeal the gym decision to the Virginia Supreme Court, arguing it gives the governor power that is, quote, "effectively absolute," end quote. Attorney General Mark R. Herring, whose office defended Northam's order, said the ruling highlighted the seriousness of the fight to slow the pandemic. Herring said, quote, "While I understand there are many hardships that come with these critical safety measures, we must remember that we are all working together to keep ourselves, our families, and our communities safe and healthy," end quote. As for our region stats, the number of known coronavirus cases in the District, Maryland, and Virginia area was 41,956 today as of 9 p.m., with 21,758 cases in Maryland, 15,871 in Virginia, and 4,327 in the district. A number of virus-related deaths reached 1,147 in Maryland, 557 in Virginia, and 225 in D.C., for a total of 1,929 fatalities. Some interesting news to end. The U.S. Navy Blue Angels and Air Force Thunderbirds will do flyovers Saturday in the D.C. and Baltimore regions to honor healthcare workers on the front lines dealing with coronavirus outbreak. The flyovers will begin at 11:30 a.m. in the Baltimore area and last for about 15 minutes, then begin in the Washington region at about 11:45 and continue for about 20 minutes. In Fort Washington, Maryland, Ken Cruz, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Ken, for that very informative report there in Fort Washington. Now, with those high alarming numbers, do you think there in the DMV region, you guys are getting close to reopening like the other states?
Well, that's a kind of tough question to answer, just because, specifically just today alone, there were nearly 2,000 new cases and 92 deaths reported here in the region. So, our leaders like Governor Hogan of Maryland said that, we're a couple of weeks behind from some of the other states that are reopening because of the early and aggressive actions they took. The positive outcome is that, like, our hospitals have not been overwhelmed. But all three leaders within the region are being cautious before committing to any reopening. We all have all three regions have plans. Virginia, Maryland, and DC. There's all plans to reopen the state. However, we're being very cautious. I think that for everyone here, patience is key. Patience is essential.
Yes, patience is definitely essential. Now, since you guys are not look like you're reopening anytime soon, then maybe what are some of the things that you are doing to keep busy?
Well, I mean, as with everyone in the nation, like, we're just stuck inside. So just trying to be creative, doing a lot of Zoom workouts, a lot of streaming, and then just like quiet walks around. There's a lake nearby, so just quiet walks. The cool thing is that it's just myself, my dog, and nature, which is pretty cool. Only when it's sunny though. It's kind of raining here right now, so I'm a little cooped up inside, trying to keep the cat and beaver away.
All right. Well, you continue that. Have fun, stay safe, and be healthy. Thank you for the report, Ken.
Thanks, Lon.
In Goldsboro, we have Bernadette Regini talking about the North Carolina stay-at-home order extended until May 19. Bernadette?
Thank you, Lonnie. As of today, the number of COVID-confirmed cases in this state has we've reached the 5 digits at 10,509. There are currently 378 COVID-19 related deaths. Here in the state of North Carolina, stay-at-home orders have been extended to May 8. Governor Roy Cooper recently shared a plan to lift the restrictions in phases as he continues to monitor the trends of COVID-19. Now, the plan is to ease restrictions in 3 phases, and we anticipate that the first phase will happen again on May 8th. The ease in restriction will allow citizens to shop for more than just the the essential, and will just be able to shop, yet still complying with the social distancing. Gatherings are still limited to 10 people, no more than 10 people, I should say, and again, encouraging social distancing. Stay-at-home orders will likely stay in effect until the end of May. Governor Roy Cooper's decisions are merely based upon the trends of COVID-19, not just within the state, but around the nation. In Goldsboro, North Carolina, Bernadette Regini, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Lana.
Thank you, Bernadette. Well, at least it's, May's right around the corner. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think North Carolina is ready to reopen?
I've been monitoring the trends here in North Carolina, and, some reports say that the numbers, yes, we're still increasing with the cases, and then there's reports saying that we've flattened the curve. In my opinion, I think it's early, because just like what Ken was saying earlier, the numbers continue to rise. So it's concerning, but I understand, that businesses have to do this to thrive. I mean, it's what we have to do in the community. So it's just May 8th, I think, is a little too soon, but I understand why they need to do that.
Right. Like going out in public, are you guys required to cover your faces and wear face masks?
Well, here on base, here at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, we are required, if you're entering a building, you are required to cover masks. And part of the order with Governor Roy Cooper's executive order, one of his most recent ones is employers are supposed to be providing their employees with protective gear or implementing ways of preventing COVID, such as I've come into some stores where there's a clear plexiglass between the cashier and the customer. And in some, I myself, whenever I go out in public, I do wear a mask just to be safe.
No, that's a very good safety precaution.
Right.
All right. Thank you for your report, and you stay safe and be well.
Likewise.
When we come back, more live updates from our Eagle News correspondents. We will return shortly. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Robin, and I'm 5 years old. My mom and dad said many people are getting sick. That is why we have to stay at home. That is why I cannot go to school. I cannot play outside, and I cannot even visit my friends. We can only go outside if we visit the doctor, or if we need to buy some food. And when we get home, we have to wash our hands. at home, I do my homework, clean up my toys, help cooking our food, and help my parents with their work. Please stay home so we can all play together again. Bye!
Welcome back. You are watching Eco News. I am Lonnie Bacalsicantos in Las Vegas. Information about Pennsylvania's three-phase plan approach to slowly reopen the state amid COVID-19 pandemic. Eagle News correspondent Mylan Sambulan in Swarthmore with the details. Myla?
Thanks, Lanny. A three-phase plan approach was released by Governor of Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf, in order to cautiously and slowly reopen Pennsylvania. The administration consulted with TPA, Pennsylvania Department of Health, Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, the Department of Community and Economic Development, the Department of Labor and Industry, and others, to develop a guide for businesses, local governments, workers, and customers in order to have a safe and cautious reopening process. The three-phase matrix will serve as a guidance once it is determined when counties and or regions are ready to begin easing some restrictions on work, congregate settings, and social interactions. Right now, Pennsylvania is in red phase, which means everyone was still on stay-at-home order and which started in April 1st of 2020. Large gatherings are strictly prohibited and restaurants are limited to carry out and delivery only. All non-life sustaining businesses are closed. According to Wolf, the purpose of this phase is to begin to power back up the economy while keeping a close eye on the public health data to ensure the spread of disease remains contained to the greatest extent possible. If data looks good, regions or counties will move to yellow, which means stay-at-home orders will be lifted, but we still need to follow federal or state health guidelines. A ban for gatherings of more than 25 people remains. Gyms, theaters, and other indoor recreational and entertainment venues will remain closed. And the most awaited, green. This phase will lift stay-at-home orders and businesses closures that will allow the economy to reopen strategically, keeping in mind the public health and safety. Green phase will be the new normal. With all these guidelines, last week, the governor announced that North Central and Northwest regions will move from red to yellow on May 8th. So, how do they decide when to move to the next phase? The administration will use the Department of Health metrics and a data tool developed by Carnegie Mellon University. Per Wolf, to determine when a region is ready to reopen and return to work, the state will evaluate the incidence rate of COVID-19 cases per capita, relying upon existing regional health districts used by the Pennsylvania Department of Health. A regional assessment will measure the COVID-19 cases to determine if the target goal of an average of less than 50 cases per 100,000 individuals over the course of 14 days is met. In Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Myla Simbulan, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thank you for that report, Myla. Sounds like, that step-by-step phases is producing some progress. Now, how are Pennsylvanians reacting to the slowly reopening of your state?
I think Pennsylvanians are looking forward to the reopening, but it's also good that we're reopening slowly and cautiously. Actually, Tom Wolf announced that tomorrow, May 1st, a statewide reopening of limited outdoor recreational activities to help Pennsylvanians maintain positive physical and mental health. So that means golf courses and private campgrounds will be operational. Construction will also be allowed starting tomorrow. So as a Pennsylvanian, I'm excited. Although I don't play golf nor have any plans of going camping, but I'll be cheering for all those golfers out there, and me and my family are really excited because now we're slowly seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that sounds great. So is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to meet again my friends at church, my friends at work. Having to go to the restaurants and see a lot of people. I don't know. I really miss doing those. Right now, just going to the grocery is an exciting part of my week. Because you see people, you see. Sometimes I meet some friends. We still have to do social distancing while talking. But I'm really excited for this opening, the green.
Yes, that social interaction is definitely something to miss. There in Pennsylvania, when they talked about some outdoor activities, what's the weather there, by the way, in the East Coast?
Well, right now it was really windy. That's probably why my router connection right now is down, because it's really a strong wind. I've seen some photos while watching the news. I've seen some photos of trees. Some of the trees are down, especially where I live right now. We have so many trees out here, and but it was on the 70s, which is good. I mean, the temperature is good for you to go out, and it's just that it's windy today. But yesterday it was really nice. My kids were playing basketball and volleyball because we put up a basketball and volleyball in our backyard, so they were able to go out yesterday.
Wow, that's good. 70s is quite comfortable. Here in Las Vegas, we're still about high 90s.
Oh, wow. Looking forward to that as well. Hopefully in the summer we'll be in the 90s too.
Okay, thank you for your report, Mylin. Myla, stay safe and be well.
Thank you, Landy. You too.
Texas governor states disaster declaration for 6 counties, and San Antonio extends stay-at-home policy till May 19. In San Antonio, we have Eagle News correspondent Jericho Montefalcon with more. Jericho?
Thank you, Lonnie. A series of severe weather has struck the Lone Star State this past week. Governor Greg Abbott issued a disaster declaration of the 6 counties that were affected, which include Lamar, Newton, Polk, Red River, San Jacinto, and Jasper. The governor authorized the use of all available state resources and political subdivisions to aid response efforts. He gave his support to those who were affected by stating, "Our hearts continue to be with those who were affected by these destructive storms, and the state is committed to working alongside these communities throughout the recovery process." End quote. While the governor is ready to reopen Texas in May 1st, the city of San Antonio is taking a slower approach. On Wednesday, Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Judge Nelson Wolf issued separate but joint updates to their stay-at-home work safe orders to slow the spread of COVID-19. The new city and county orders include an extension of stay-at-home orders through May 19, as San Antonio and Bexar County ease into the governor's Open Texas plan. San Antonio officials are also requiring masks or face coverings for people 10 years or older when out in public places like the grocery stores or pharmacy, but they may not enforce the rules with fines and citations. Officials report a total number of the COVID-19 cases It's 1,374 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Bexar County. Since the start of the pandemic, with 48 deaths, one of the newly reported fatalities was 53-year-old Bexar County Sheriff Deputy Timothy De La Fuente, who died 2 days after testing positive for COVID-19. According to Judge Wolf, the new cases and deaths come just as retailers, movie theaters, restaurants, and malls are preparing to reopen on Friday. Under the governor's Open Texas plan, these businesses can reopen at 25% of maximum occupancy. Businesses must provide face coverings to employees who work together in close quarters. If no new rashes of COVID-19 cases are seen by May 18, the state will allow businesses such as bars, barbershops, and salons to increase occupancy at 50% capacity. For residents and owners having trouble paying rent, Bexar County has created an online form for victims of an illegal lockout by landlords. The county is also stopping foreclosures for failure to pay back taxes. Anyone entering a county building will be required to wear face coverings and have their temperatures checked. Despite the governor's plans to reopen Texas on Friday, Mayor Nirenberg used a football metaphor, stating he doesn't want San Antonio to fumble near the goal line and return to activities too quickly and too carelessly. Judge Wolf stated that the new city and county orders don't violate the governor's orders. It just gives teeth to it. In San Antonio, Texas, I'm Jericho Montefalcon. Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you for that report, Jericho. It sounds like there's progress in your state as well. So just hang in there. May is right around the corner. And our condolences also to all those affected from the storms and deaths from the pandemic. But on a more positive light, you're in San Antonio. So what are the things you're doing there to stay healthy at home?
Exercising new workout routines. Well, Lanny, exercising new workout routines, practicing sports such as boxing. I heard EBC Digital offers workout routines that viewers can check out on YouTube.
Yes, most definitely. Sports and staying fit and healthy has been popular during these stay-at-home measures. You continue to be safe there, Jericho, and thank you for your report.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Now in Los Angeles, they offer free COVID-19 testing to all residents, a first for major cities in the country. Daniel Glenn Sukalis in West Hills has the details.
Thank you, Lonnie. The state of California currently has 48,917 confirmed COVID-19 cases. That's a 5.2% increase, and 1,982 deaths as recorded by the Johns Hopkins University Medicine Coronavirus Resource Center. In Los Angeles County, California, there are 733 new confirmed COVID-19 cases and 55 new deaths, bringing the total to 23,182 confirmed cases with 1,111 deaths, according to the Los Angeles Public Health Department. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti recently tweeted that Los Angeles is the first known city in the United States to make COVID-19 tests available to everyone residing here. through the collaboration of the City of Los Angeles, the County of Los Angeles, and CORE, Community Organized Relief Effort, free COVID-19 tests are now available to all Los Angeles County residents. The COVID-19 test can be taken by Los Angeles County residents whether or not they are showing symptoms of the virus and free of any cost. Testing is available by appointment only, and sign-ups are through the website link at coronavirus.lacity.org/testing. Same or next day testing will still continue to be prioritized for those showing symptoms and certain critical frontline workers whose roles interact with the public. Some symptoms that can qualify a person for priority testing are coughing, shortness of breath, and fever. In West Hills, California, Daniel Glensakoulis, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you for that report, Daniel. California, being a neighboring state of Nevada, is doing great in offering this first-time testing to all its residents.
Well, that's good to hear.
We talked a little bit about, before the broadcast, of the good news that you shared about your wife to undergo a long-awaited kidney transplant surgery. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. You know, this was a 10-year wait for us, and I know that all the news that we hear about COVID-19 in general is usually bad news, but for us, you know, there was a silver lining. Transplant programs now, because of the pandemic, have now had to look at healthier patients in regards to who gets an organ. And the reason for that is because post-transplant patients are immunosuppressed immediately after the transplant, which would be, you know, obviously a pretty bad situation for them if they were not healthy and COVID-19, they were to be infected by COVID-19. In our case, Carmela was healthy. She had no other underlying diseases, and so we got the call. So it was a special day for us.
That's wonderful news for you. And how is your Carmela doing now for the recovery process?
You know, the recovery process was a little bit longer than I thought. With these deceased kidneys, they typically don't start working right away. It's not like plug and play, just plug in a kidney and all of a sudden you're cured. In her case, it took probably about 10 days for the kidney to finally, if you want to say, wake up, wake up from its sleep and finally start doing its job. As of today, she is now 3 weeks straight dialysis free. So it's a huge change in our lives.
Oh, that's wonderful news. Well, I wish her a 100% full recovery and for the both of you to stay well and healthy.
Thank you. Stay safe.
You as well. Up next, let's find out how we can color our stresses away. Eagle News will return shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the EBC International coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. I am Lonnie Valdecotos here in Las Vegas. It's been several weeks now since the COVID-19 pandemic changed our everyday lives. For some, the stay-at-home orders have given them the opportunity to attend things they have been putting off for a long time. Yet for others, the situation may be different. This time might be quite stressful for them than ever before. Today, we'll share with you one way to de-stress during these uncertain times. EBC friend Vanessa Reynolds shows us how to color our stress away. Take a look.
Hello, from Corpus Christi, Texas. I'm Vanessa Reynolds, and today I wanted to share with you my favorite indoor activity, coloring. You can use markers, colored pencils, gel pens, my favorite, or just basic crayons. One of the most basic art lessons we are introduced to as children is the joy of coloring. Anyone can color, from toddlers to adults. In fact, there are a wide variety of coloring books available for adults, online and in stores. The act of coloring not only brings us back to childhood happiness, but can also be therapeutic and relaxing. If I've had a stressful day, coloring soothes my nerves and gives me some quiet moments to let my creativity flow. I also love music, so coloring with music can really put me in a calm, focused state and temporarily tune out the world and its distractions. Enjoyed coloring with me. In Corpus Christi, Texas, I'm Vanessa Reynolds for Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Vanessa. That definitely looks very relaxing, and it actually creates a work of art as well. Eagle Broadcasting Corporation invites you to our 52nd anniversary event. Enjoy music beyond the crisis. It's an online concert that started last Sunday and will happen again on May 3, 10, and 17 from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Philippine time. It's an e-concert for a cause streamed on all EBC social media channels to help our frontliners, healthcare workers, and communities affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. A few reminders before we end today. Wash your hands often with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose if sneezing or coughing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid contact with sick people. And if you are sick, stay home and call your healthcare provider. Practice social distancing. Keep distance between yourself and others, and avoid crowds. Wear a protective face covering when out in public. Let's continue to thank our frontline and essential workers with a round of applause. We appreciate all of you. We at Eagle News International North America would like to greet the overall coordinator of the Christian Family Organizations of the Church of Christ, Brother Angelo V. Manalo, a very happy birthday. That is today's EBC International coverage of the Coronavirus Pandemic North America edition. Thank you for joining us. I am Lonnie Valdecantos. We live in interesting times.